Hello, welcome to Mindset to Results. And today our guest is Keira Smith, and we will speak today about how to make the meaningful changes in life when you feel stuck. Hi, Keira.
Hi there, Eleanor. Thank you for having me.
You're most welcome. It is great to see you today, and I would like to start with sharing your story. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to that place to do what you do now and how everything changed for you.
Yeah, so I had a difficult start in life. I grew up in an abusive household. I then had to have brain surgery when I was 11, which left me visually impaired. And following on from that, I had an abusive relationship myself. I lost my mum. And as you can imagine, my mental health got worse and worse. And I tried lots of different ways to get on top of this. I became a personal trainer. So, exercise became a big part of my life. But unfortunately, after, over a decade of doing that, I had become a slave to exercise, and exercise had stopped being a positive thing and it had started to become a negative thing in my life, and I'd become a slave to my business. I was working too hard. I was putting too many hours in, too much energy, and my physical health really had suffered as well. And I was just at absolute breaking point. I wanted to change career, and I wanted to do something that would help me because I couldn't carry on. I wanted to take my own life. I felt there was no way out. I felt so stuck. And that just didn't just affect me, it affected my family, it affected my friends, my clients in my business. So everything had kind of ground to a halt, and I could just feel that a massive change was needed, but actually didn't know what that change was at all. And out of nowhere, I just kind of thought maybe hypnotherapy would be good. Maybe that would be a good thing, because I wanted to stay in the field of wellness, but I wanted to really help people move forward rather than sort of just staying in the same place and scraping the top off their problems. So fortunately, the course that I found that was near to me was a solution focused hypnotherapy course, and that really interested me because it was solution focused rather than problem focused.
Mhm.
And from the first day that I attended that course, and we were given so much information about the neuroscience of the brain and how we were going to help people and the power of deep relaxation, I knew that it was the right thing for me. And I remember my lecturer saying on that day, this will change your life and the life of all of those around you. But at that point, Eleanor, I did not appreciate how big a change it would create for me and everyone around me, and how, because of the nature of the information, the therapy, how you just continue to make those changes because you learn how to help yourself from it. Um, and so several years on from that, I'm still making changes. I'm still learning. I'm still carrying on. And I think that's the real power of this type of therapy, is it helps you create a positive, healthy lifestyle rather than simply just helping you for those few hours that you see the therapist for.
Yeah, great. Really, it is interesting how you research, how you were searching and you found it. Yeah, so
Mhm.
it just
Yeah.
reminded me that knock the door and the door will be open. Yes,
Yeah,
and yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, you ask and you will receive. Something came at the right time. It's that kind of thing. You ask God for a solution and he'll hand you a shovel to dig your own tunnel out of that problem. So yes, very much.
yes, and you really had that desire to find the solution, yeah, because you were looking for it, and it
Yeah.
is so good that you found it because so many people, I can say, are in your situation and they can
Mm.
just get overwhelmed and just quit, yes, and just
Absolutely.
give
Yeah.
up.
definitely. It's exactly that, Eleanor, that feeling of complete overwhelm and just not knowing where to start and needing that someone to just help you get off the starting block, and give you that little bit of light and hope at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, especially when you shared that you had such a challenging childhood, yes,
Mm.
and still you didn't quit. Still you believed in yourself, yeah, and you believed in God, I think, and something bigger than you, and you were
De-
still searching.
Definitely, you're absolutely right, Eleanor. I I'd always kind of out of necessity had to be quite a solution focused person to cope with the various different things that had come along for me. Um, and so I feel I have always been somebody who has always wanted to learn and wanted to find ways I could help myself, because, at the end of the day, that's who's always there for you, isn't it? Yourself. And if you can provide well through your own means, your life will be so much better. And you're totally right. I think I've very much settled into who I am and that I am part of a much bigger picture. And I'm really comfortable with that now. The fact that I am different and that things that have happened to me have paved the way for me to be able to do my job with compassion and empathy, and to do it well, so that my clients know that I'm not sort of preaching at them, or I don't know how they feel, that, I've been there. I know that how it feels to be stuck and overwhelmed.
Yes, and usually how people get stuck because they think that they tried so many things. Yes,
Yeah.
and it seems like nothing works, and they look at other people who are successful and they don't understand like why they don't get successful, although they can put hours to work. Maybe they worked 12 hours a day,
Yeah,
still didn't get there. So how
exactly.
do you help your clients to find their path to success? Because
Mm,
success is not the same for everyone. Yes, because everybody uh, have different starting point. Yes, like their journey
exactly.
to success is different because there are no people who have the same situation and starting point that would be the same as you started from your place. Yes,
Yeah.
and so many different people, they have all their different limiting beliefs, their background, yes, their fears, doubts, the way how they used to think, and
Mm,
that is why the success, as we say that success leave clue, yes, so it is this certain way of thinking and acting, but
mm.
everyone starts from their unique place. Yeah, like that is only unique for them. And how do you help your clients really to find that strength again and believe in themselves and find what you found? So for you, it was hypnotherapy course, and everybody can find really what can help them to break through.
Yeah, absolutely. And you made a very good point there, Eleanor, that everybody is so unique and so different. And this can be where the problems start, is that people will be given advice. They'll be told, well, this worked for me, so it'll work for you. Do this, do that. Everybody else looks like they're succeeding. I'm not succeeding. And all of this really creates a huge amount of stress, because people think of stress as large events, big things that happen in your life, but stress comes from our thoughts. So the way we work in solution focused therapy, hypnotherapy, is exactly from where you said, from the point of view that everyone is different. So we give them, to begin with, the foundation of what we do is to educate our clients. So in our initial consultation, they receive information about the brain, the parts of the brain that we talk about in our sessions. And there are three main simple things we talk about. The intellectual brain, that's where we make the good decisions, the rational decisions from. The primitive brain, This is our panic, fight, flight, survival part of our brain, which is when we're stressed, that's where we are. And that's sadly where we make bad decisions from, or decisions that aren't going to help us in the future. And we also talk about something called the stress bucket. So the stress bucket is, we ask our clients to literally imagine a bucket filled with all the things that stress you. And as I said, this is not just things like grief and trauma. This is things like negative habits, stressful daily routines that you might have got into but don't help you anymore, relationships, friendships, work relationships. And by learning about how the brain works, how we move from one part of the brain to the other, we lay the foundations for that person without telling them this is what's stressing you in your life. We let them know our thought stressors, this is the stress bucket, this is how we can stress ourselves. And that lays the groundwork for them to start, their brain to start ticking about, okay, what's stressing me in my life? Actually, I'm here because I'm struggling with my hair is falling out, or I'm struggling with my weight. But actually, underneath all of that lies stress. And we then give them two tools to go away with. The first tool is a relaxation, a hypnosis relaxation to listen to. And this, my particular one, lasts about 23 minutes. And this is available for free on my website for anybody who wants to start using this. But we ask our clients to listen to this every single day, ideally as they're going to sleep. Basically, what this does is it starts to teach the brain it's safe and it can relax. And the brain starts to learn to relax. And when the brain can relax, it can get out of its own way. It also helps them sleep better, and sleep is a huge foundation for our lives. And then the second tool that we give them is we ask them to write down every single day what's been good, or what's been different for them, or what they've noticed. Not a gratitude journal, not anything based on that. It's what's been good for them. So again, Eleanor, it goes back to that very specific thing that's about them, not what's good for other people or what they should be grateful for. It's what is good for them. And we ask them to do those two things. So I always say to my clients, I ask for half an hour a day of your time. Those two things allow that little inroad into starting to feel more relaxed, starting to notice what's going on around them, starting to sleep better. And with the what's been good, it's starting to retrain their brain, just like we train our muscles when we go to the gym or we go for a walk. It's retraining that brain, constantly practicing moving it out of primitive fight flight into that intellectual brain. And that's the basis of where we begin, because once they can make better choices because their stress bucket starts to empty and they feel more relaxed, that's when those small blocks of success can start to come for them in whatever shape or form that is very, very personal for them.
Yes, exactly. Because if people have so much challenges and bad
Mm,
experiences, they get conditioned to be in that fear and doubt. Yes, that
absolutely.
has so much, and because they got conditioned to think from that place, and if they make decisions from the place of fear and doubt,
Yes,
will cause them to get into worse situation, because when they make decisions from that place, it means that it will bring them more fear and doubt in
absolutely.
those
Yeah.
situations. And I like how you said that bad decisions. Yes, so bad decisions, it means that you make decisions from the bad place. Yes,
Yeah.
and because what we think about, this is what we attract. And if our decisions come from the place of insecurity, fear and doubt, this is what will attract. So this is so important, as you do, to get
Mm,
them from that place of fear and doubt to
yeah.
relaxing place where they can allow themselves to dream big and to start thinking about what they want instead of
Exactly.
what they don't.
That is exactly it, Eleanor. What do you want? What's the first tiny step we can take towards what you actually want? Because that's not a question that people get asked a lot. What do you want? And what do you want? How do you want it to happen? You know, so that's an excellent point. And for some clients, when they come to me, it takes a little bit of time for them to get used to that. And one client I had recently was over the moon because it meant he could talk about all the things he was achieving in his life and that he could feel proud of. And as we talk about those things, we produce serotonin. And the serotonin not only makes us happy, but it draws us into that intellectual brain where we make those good decisions from. So, for instance, I had somebody come to me and she was at breaking point, which a lot of my clients are. They've tried everything else, that hasn't worked for them, and they're desperate. And this lady came to me, her hair was falling out. She'd been bullied at work. She couldn't even go into the room where she'd been bullied. And she applied herself to our process. We followed the process, and by the end of her 6 sessions that she'd booked, she'd embarked on a postgraduate degree, and she was back to feeling how she used to feel when she had that confidence to do what she was really good at. Um, and that's what's nice, is a lot of clients say, I'm starting to feel like I used to feel when I was confident, when I was doing that other job. And that's really lovely to observe that, peeling back the layers. A full stress bucket, it can turn somebody into a completely different version of themselves, which they deserve to be that better version of themselves. And the lovely thing is that we can do all of this without actually talking about the problem, because what we want is for the brain to be in that good place and they can make those good decisions from there.
Yes, to be solution focused instead of problem focused. Yes, because
Absolutely.
what you think about, you become that. And if
Absolutely.
you
Yeah.
think about problem, you will create more problems. And if you think about
Yes.
solution, yeah, you will start finding way for solution. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. 100%.
Yes, and so interesting that when you spoke about the change that happened just within 6 sessions,
Mm.
interesting that outside factors didn't change. Yes, so what is changing is inside. The person changes from within, changes
Yes.
his thoughts, focus, and this is how he get to the different frequency of lighter energy and start seeing opportunities. Yes, and outside
Absolutely.
reality also starting changing after that major change inside happens.
That's it, Eleanor. You've absolutely hit the nail on the head. It's a bit like with my eyesight. You learn to cope better with something. The actual thing doesn't change. The person who's bullying you or whatever, you just learn to cope with it better because you're eliminating stress from around it and you're putting yourself in that better place. So you're 100% correct. That is exactly it. Yeah.
Yes, and when people also learn about the attitude and its power,
Mm,
because when they change their attitude, how they look at things, the things change. Yes,
absolutely.
and when
Perspective.
they change, yes, other people also change. They think, oh, what happened to them? Yes,
Yeah,
so she looks
absolutely.
different today.
This is it. And as we start to put more boundaries in, with other people, we might notice that a relationship is not actually helping us or doing us any good. We start to put those boundaries in. And like you say, other people start to notice we're more confident, notice we're, looking better or doing more stuff for yourself, and that can be a mixed bag, but as in some people don't like it. People around you might not like it that much because you've been doing everything for them and now you're not. But ultimately it's good for everyone because that person learns from it as well. So it's remarkable that the differences that my clients see in not just themselves but, like you say, other people, it is absolutely remarkable, the wave effect it has in the world around them.
Yes, and they can see the same situation, but it is totally different, and they
Yeah,
can even ask themselves, "Oh, so before it was different, and now it is different." Yes, and what happened?
absolutely.
You different. Yeah, you changed, and
Yeah,
everything changed. Yes, because interesting here that to mention that the law of cause and effect, and
yeah,
everything
absolutely.
what happens is just a fact, and the cause is us. Yes, the cause is the person himself, and maybe some people cannot agree with that, and they think, oh,
Mhm,
how could I cause that? Or yes, but it is not
mhm,
always that it is intentionally, it is not that it is consciously you cause that, but those fears and doubts, those thoughts which go subconsciously, in
mhm.
many cases people even not aware of them, but
Yeah,
those subconscious activities, yeah, like all those what happens subconsciously, it is like 95% of the iceberg which is not seen. Yes,
exactly.
consciously we
Yeah,
have only the top 5%, and underwater is 95%, and that's why it is so important to understand yourself. And
yeah,
it's a work which you do, like you explain people that they are not their brain. Yes, like
yeah,
brain is like a computer which is just programmed to run on autopilot based on previous experiences and everything what happened before, but it is not a good tool to predict your future. Yes, if you just run
absolutely.
on those programs.
Absolutely. Like you say, there are so many beliefs we have sitting in our subconscious that we have been gathering all of our lives, some helpful, some not helpful. And that's where the deep relaxation comes in that we do, is that it's not a magic wand, but it does help plant some more helpful suggestions into your subconscious. And that's why we ask people to listen to it regularly, because it performs so many different functions. One of those being is to give your body and brain deep rest, because it replicates REM sleep, that rapid eye movement sleep, where we dream and we process everything out of that stress bucket. So the deep relaxation ticks an awful lot of boxes, as well as that subconscious, helping feed that subconscious. It helps your brain rest and process, and your brain waves to slow down. So all sorts of things are going on there to help, like you say, that subconscious get into a better place.
Yes, and also I think that confidence, as you said, yes, that we cultivate confidence. Um,
Mm,
it starts from self-love. Yes,
mm,
starting yourself, understanding who you really are and how all these processes happen, to understand
mm,
the power of your mind, right? And the brain is the part of physical body, but when we also understand the power of the mind, which is ability to reason, ability to have perception, to have intuition, imagination, and start creating your life from those high mental tools
yeah,
that, that
uh,
helps
very,
people to.
very, very much. And I think for my clients, we use something called the miracle question, and that asks them if they were just one point further up on the scale of happiness or confidence at this time, what would be different, what would have happened or what would have changed. And we're asking them to find a very, very small step towards that. So a really good example of this is one of my clients said that she was going to fill her drinking bottle up at 10 p.m. that evening and put it in the fridge, so the next morning it was ready for her to take out the fridge at the beginning of a very busy day. And off she went, because that began her day with immediately feeling she'd achieved something, she'd been organized, and she'd had prepared for the day and helped the beginning of the day be less stressful. And one thing that a podcast host said to me that I'd been on with before is, so you're saying we don't need to take a baseball bat to our problems. And that's exactly it. We want people to find the very smallest steps to help them get their life organized a bit better, and then when they've moved up to that, to help them move up to the next step. But it doesn't need to be big, and that's where a lot of people come to that point where they feel they fail because they're trying to achieve something so big in one kind of step that it fails, and then they go back to the beginning, a bit like a crash diet. If you're on a diet to try and lose 2 stone in 2 weeks, and it's so severe you cannot maintain that, you are going to fall off the wagon, and then you feel like you've failed. And then what do you tend to do? You tend to go and eat lots of junk food because you feel miserable. So it's finding those little sustainable steps for people, and for them thinking, what do I need? What do I enjoy in my life? What can I take out of my life that will make it feel better and less stressful, and allow me to get, like you say, to that better part of yourself where you make better decisions for you, rather than thinking of others all the time.
Yes, exactly. This is how confidence is built when you help people to celebrate the victories, even small victories, but
Yeah.
it change their focus. Even one victory, which is even small, but it is already victory which they can celebrate, and they can bring that good feelings, and they can remember how it feels, and then they can project also for future events.
Absolutely. And if we're just waiting for the big events to happen, we're going to spend an awful lot of time being unhappy and waiting, rather than enjoying what we have, and being able to take control, because those are the ways, that's the fabric of our life. Those small details that's the fabric of how we live. And when we feel like we can take control of those, that, like you say, that confidence in what we can control continues to grow. But a big thing for clients is when they learn that, it allows them to let themselves off the hook. It allows them to relax and go, do you know what? This doesn't have to be great big things that I'm doing to help my mental health or my health condition or whatever it is. I can actually find small achievable things to do. And for my clients, that's probably the biggest thing, because they start to realize, oh my God, it's not the big things that are causing me the problem. It's all these little things that are lying underneath it that I'm not in control of. So it's a really wonderful process, and it can be a really fast process. So I always say to people, 6 to 12 sessions. We're not looking to have years and years and years and years of therapy here. This is something where I help you learn about yourself. You learn to manage your own stress bucket, and my door is always open, but then you go on your own, and you continue to build your own tool set more and more and more as you go forward.
Yes, yes, exactly. Because when people even um, create that shift from their state to a new state and start moving towards success and celebrate even small success, but one after another, this is
Yes.
how it will help them to shift their thinking, yes, from just being a victim and from survival to celebrate and see bigger picture.
Absolutely. You're completely right. You're completely right, because they're moving into a completely different space of possibility for themselves, which is very different from how a lot of people are treated as well. A lot of people are told life will be disappointing, life is awful, and you'll just have to get on with it and force yourself through it. Well, actually, there are huge amounts that you can do starting with what you have right now. It doesn't need to be this great big shift. It starts small, and then, like you say, you can see the potential. You start to see the light of what could be possible.
Yes, and I also think that it helps to make the shift when they start doing something that feels make them feel good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, to find the moments like what really they can do to feel good, to feel amazing. Maybe to
Lovely.
go to a nice spa, yes, to get massage, or to maybe to sit in thermal pools, yes, to feel
Yeah,
the water, Like I recently went to such spa, and it really helped me. Like when I sit in this thermal water, which with the green body,
Mhm.
and it is so relaxing outdoors. Like when the weather, I was in Ukraine last week, so it was this experience that it
Lovely.
-2 outside, and we were in this pool with thermal water, which is natural temperature, which come just
Yes.
from the earth, and the temperature was 40, and such a beautiful view. And I was just, like I was sitting there and just remembering, putting this memory to that,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, how it feels. And next day when I went to dentist, so what I did, I didn't want to do anesthesia. So she did my tooth without anesthesia, and at that time I was using that memory which I have in
Amazing.
pool, and I was just mentally put myself in that pool and just enjoying. And it is interesting that we can use those memories, just create them, yes,
Yeah,
create those feelings and remember them, and use them not only to remember things in the past or in present, we also can project it in the future.
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, it just shows the power of that with what you did, because that's extraordinary what you achieved there, was having your not having to have the anesthetic. It's and in Austria they do Austria or Switzerland, they operate under, they do surgery under hypnosis. And of course, when the people wake up, um, and I imagine, this is why you didn't really want the anesthetic, is because you get all the horrible side effects, don't you, of feeling groggy, and so it is an extraordinary tool, and you've just illustrated the absolute power of your own mind, because our brains don't know the difference between imagination and reality. So if we keep talking about something that's unpleasant, our brain produces all the chemicals to deal with that, all the stress chemicals, because it thinks it's happening. Whereas in your example, you brought that beautiful image of sitting in that gorgeous outdoor pool, and your brain calmed down, 'cause it was like, great, Eleanor, we're good. We've got that lovely memory. And then it produces serotonin and dopamine and all the lovely things which calm your body down, and that interrupts pain signals. So you don't feel the pain as much as you would. So I love that story. That's one I'm gonna be telling to my clients. That's amazing.
Yes, exactly, because subconscious mind doesn't recognize what is happening in real and what is imagined.
Mhm.
So when you use that mind power, you can take yourself and bring you to the pleasant moment and enjoy even when something else is happening physically. Yes.
Yeah,
And
it's
also,
brilliant. Absolutely
yes,
brilliant.
and interesting that also she said to me that I have to take antibiotics to make sure that all is good, because I had to fly. And she said that you have to get antibiotics here because in England maybe it is difficult. And I was looking at her, and I knew that I'm not going to take antibiotics. And
Yeah,
I'm just sure that everything will be fine. Like this is how I use my mind. So I just say my body that now we have everything is good, and we want to celebrate and just feel great. Yeah.
fantastic. And you're feeling well. You're feeling good after your
Yes,
tooth. Everything's fine. Absolutely
that's
brilliant.
fine. I didn't take any antibiotics, anything, and I just was grateful that it is over, and I just switched my mind to something else.
That's absolutely fantastic. And the dentist is a thing that a lot of people don't like and don't like going to. And I think it's absolutely fantastic that you've done that. It's, as I say, it just shows the power of your own mind, and how we can use it productively to actually work for us, instead of it controlling us, getting us to do things we don't want to do.
Yes, yes, because what I learned and what helped me a lot is to detach from current reality and use your mind to be in different reality, like
Yeah,
for example
absolutely.
imagination, yeah, or
Yeah.
perception, yeah, or will also. And when we practice this, it is like muscle. When we use our high mental faculties, we can use them so effectively, because most of people, they are so much attached to this 3D reality, and they live from their five senses. Yes, like ability to see, hear, smell, taste, and touch, and then they just get this information from five senses and they react
Mm,
automatically. Yes, so when we learn the power of our mind, we start living from our high mental faculties more than five senses, and sometimes we just
mm,
totally can switch them off, those
mm.
five senses, and move totally in our imagination reality, which we want to be for that time.
Absolutely. And I think that you touched on earlier that, people might have tried all sorts of different things to improve the quality of their mind. And to sort of reach that state that you were saying of being able to, for instance, sit and meditate and really feel the benefit from meditating, or journaling, or anything like that. All of those things are really, really hard to get benefit from and get access from if that stress bucket is full. And so what I always say to my clients is what I'm doing here is not the answer to all your problems. It is helping clear the clutter so that you can then look around and take advantage of all those other things that are around you, all those other tools, professionals, whatever it is, to help you, and so they can get to that place where they can really feel those five senses and enjoy, for instance, the weather. Because if you're stressed and you're in that primitive brain, you don't care about things like that because you're just in survival mode. So having a way to actually get to a better place where they can make the most of those things is something basically everyone who comes to me is struggling to do, and they don't know how to get there. And it's all very well people saying, oh, meditate, be mindful, but those things are so hard when your stress bucket is full, and without emptying it, it's very, very hard to get to that place where you can appreciate things.
Yes, and I think that one of the mistakes that people do when they are stressed, they think that they just have to push hard. Yes, push
Absolutely,
hard,
yes.
and they do something that doesn't work and they just push it harder. That
Yeah,
will work, of course, and they put them in different, like even more stressful place. Yes, so
definitely.
why not just to change the perception and look that there are maybe other things that can do it better with less effort, and how we can see those other things. This is just when we empty our mind.
Mm,
Otherwise, if it is full, we just cannot see anything. It is like a horse which is blocked to see only forward, something which forward, and it cannot see anything else. Yes,
no,
and people who are driven, ambitious, they have big goals, and sometimes they put themselves like that horse. They just think that they have to push harder, and they do push harder, and it looks like a fly. We just push harder to kick itself at the closed window, right? And 1 meter on
exactly.
the left, the door is open. So why just not to go on the left and leave the room through the open door? But the fly continues
Yeah,
to kick itself through the window till it dies. Yes,
e-
and this is exactly what's happening.
absolutely, absolutely. And it's, giving people a way to start to change their perspective, because it's all very well saying change your perspective, but a lot of people are like, how do I do that? And I feel that for me, that's what solution focused hypnotherapy did, and that's what I observe in my clients, is it actually gives you tools to start to access that better place rather than just being told do this. And that is what really means a lot of people get stuck.
Yes, and the first step is to calm down your mind. Yeah, and sometimes people can say that, oh, I'm so busy, I don't have time for meditation. But actually, you don't be busy, it doesn't help. Yes, and if you don't calm down your mind, you will not even see other ideas, other solutions. So the most important thing to start with is to find even 10-15 minutes to meditate and calm down your mind, to empty it a bit, so you can start receiving new ideas.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. As I just mentioned, though, meditation can be really difficult if somebody's stress bucket is full. So sometimes it's a better place to start with relaxation, where you can just switch off, which is why we provide the client with a relaxation so that they don't have to be active during that time. It is actually a complete period of rest.
Yes, exactly. Relaxation and also doing something really that you make you feel good, just to love yourself, to spend time for you, to relax. Yes, and calm your mind. And this is how you can start open your eyes that there are some more solutions that.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Mm.
Yeah, great, Kira. Thank you so much. So, is it anything that you would like to share before we wrap up this episode?
Yeah, just the address to my website, Eleanor, where you can find that relaxation, which is a great place to start if you are struggling at the moment and you're struggling for any reason at all. Um, if you head to www.positivechangehypnotherapy.co.uk, there is a free download on there where you can begin listening every day or just whenever you need to. And also, there's plenty of information on there about the way I work and the things I can help you with. So, if you want to talk, if you want to find out more about what I do, please reach out, get in touch. I'd love to talk to you.
Yeah, and we will put the connections, details, contact details in the description of this video so people can get in contact with you.
Fantastic. That's absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for having me as a guest.
Yeah, thank you also for being amazing guest, and I'm looking forward to see you again on our future episode.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.